Lou, 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 Anarumo,
Everybody. Oh, I thought okay,
Anarumo.
okay. I
Come
like
on
that,
now.
I like that.
Lou Anarumo, Colts' newest defensive coordinator going into the 2025 NFL season. Welcome to episode 22 of Colts Unplugged Pod, joined by both your co-hosts, myself, Ati Logan, and pro fan Logan, baby. How you doing, brother?
Doing fantastic. I feel a little bit better as
Yeah.
far as Colts wise because at least we know who the defensive side of the ball's leader is going to be going into 2025. And, you
Yep.
know, it can't be much worse than Gus Bradley, right?
It cannot. It cannot. And I will say, Ben Johnson got the Bears job, and immediately what came out was his top target is Dennis Allen, which a lot of Colts fans hope would come here in 2025. But we got, I think, what was my second choice? I think yours up there too, like 2 or 3 in regards to defensive coordinators. We got Lou Anarumo, former defensive coordinator for the past 6 years for the Cincinnati Bengals. And box score watchers, I know he had a bad season last season. You see what he was working with? A couple of Chipotle workers, throwing some Denny's
Oh, no.
workers, some
Don't do that
McDonald's.
to these NFL players,
I
Eddie.
mean, come on now. He had
Don't
Trey
do it.
Hendrickson, and that's about
I
it.
know,
Could
I
you
know.
name any other player on that defense?
No, but still, Chipotle workers
Listen,
is a little extreme. I mean,
listen.
maybe Ruth's Chris or something like a higher end steakhouse, maybe
Not the
Japanese steakhouse.
not the Capital Girl though. They're not Capital Girl.
Yeah,
But they're like, I mean, I can name Colts players if I was a different, if I was a fan of a different team. I'm sure you could name Zaire
sure. Yeah,
Franklin, Nick Cross, Kenny Moore, the DeForest Buckner, etc. So Lou Anarumo actually has people to work with, and we know last time, Logan, 2022 was the last time Lou Anarumo had players to work with, and that was their Super
yep,
Bowl run where they ranked top three in regards to total defense in 2022. They allowed only 18.9 points per game, which was fifth in the NFL, and allowed the least points. Third least points in the NFL, which is did I just
yeah.
yeah, third least points,
I
total
mean,
points in the NFL.
you can't get to. We talked about it before. You can't get to the Super Bowl, right, and not be like a top 10 defense or a top 10 offense, right? So
Yep.
it makes sense, and that's what's so exciting for me is that at least they're bringing in a coordinator that has deep playoff experience. I mean that's at the end of the day, that's what the Colts are looking to do, right? The Colts are looking to elevate and get into the playoffs and win the AFC South and potentially compete for championships. And so I think it's cool that Lou Anarumo has recent playoff success
Yep.
and even deep playoff success, right? Going all the way into the Super Bowl. So that's encouraging for me that there's a leader who has been there, who's done that, veteran guy. And yeah, I'm ready for him to bring in a new voice and a
I
new
know.
change of culture and leadership for this team that
Yep.
so very much desperately needs it.
And
So
this guy is super like underrated. I know you guys people are gonna look at the stats the last couple of years and say whatever. I know I talked about that a little bit earlier, but you have guys like, the Kelsey brothers, Travis and Jason, saying like, I don't know
yeah,
how the heck the Bengals got rid of him. Like that guy was a menace. He's tough to play against. He'll bring random blitz packages randomly. He's a guy that's complete opposite of Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley, you'll know what his scheme looks like. Young QBs can dissect it. This is a guy that's gonna tailor his game planning based upon the opponent that he's playing against, the quarterback that he's playing against, and that is just
mm,
so refreshing to hear. It's not like cover 3 the 48 or 52% of the time. It is just
right.
completely different depending upon film, depending upon what's working in actual in-game scenarios. It's just refreshing to see as a Colts fan. And you're right. You talked about this. We talked about this in the last episode. Top, what were we ranked? 28th or 29th in total defense last season. Not going to
Yeah.
make the playoffs. You got to be top 16. And that's what I think if
Yeah.
Lou can just get us to that top 16 mark, I think Shane can find a way in year 3 with Anthony Richardson
Yeah.
to get that offense going to play some complementary football, which we have not seen in a while.
And one thing I think that you hit the nail on the head when you said he can Lou Anarumo being he can change his scheme depending on the team that he's playing, but he can also change his scheme based on the talent, right, that he has on defense. And that's really cool because I feel like with Gus Bradley, that was something where people were just like, why aren't we using these stud players that we have to their advantages, right?
Yeah.
You want to structure the defense around your stud star guys. And the most successful coordinators, whether it be offense or defense around the league, you see them do that. They coordinate their entire game plan around the guys that they know are out there making plays every Sunday. So that'll be cool too. I'm excited to see what type of talent Lou Anarumo attracts, number one, to
Yep.
Indy. And number two, I'm excited to see how much, I guess, say or power that he's going to have in the draft, talking to Chris Ballard to see what kind of guys they can target to really give him help, because that's what Ballard said in his press conference, right? He's like, I got to do a better job of giving guys more help, getting more talent, getting more tough guys on this team. So I'm excited to see how much impact Lou Anarumo is going to have as far as when it comes to drafting his type of prototype player.
Yeah.
That's going to be super exciting in the offseason and something fun to look out for. So,
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Completely agree. Lou Anarumo's success is relying on one thing and one thing only, and that's Chris Ballard putting the right players in front of him. I'll
yep.
tell you what, Laiatu Latu is going to thrive in that Trey Hendrickson type of situation. Trey Hendrickson role, which
Mm,
he only played 50% of the snaps. Gus Bradley, what the fuck are you doing? But he's going to thrive. Kenny Moore, a guy like Kenny Moore is going to thrive. Chris Ballard needs to go out there. I know Lou likes his tall, big, athletic, freakish DBs. So like Kenny Moore in the slot's going to thrive because he likes blitzing their nickel corners. But like
yes.
Jalen
Yes.
Jones, hopefully takes the next step. We get some bigger corners in there. I don't know if Samuel Womack's gonna succeed in this type of situation, but if we can get Juju Brents back with his long,
Yeah.
just like his arms and things of that nature,
He
it's
can
just
stay healthy, man. I feel like Juju Brents could hopefully in Lou Anarumo's defense have a breakout year. I mean, that's what all Colts fans are hoping for there, right? I mean,
yeah,
drafting him in the second round, we sort of need, as a franchise, the Colts need Juju Brents to take that next step. That's why you take a guy
yeah.
that high. Yeah.
Jalen Carlisle, he's going to thrive as a guy that can pass cover in as a linebacker. So
Yep.
that's something that you want to see too. Lou's going to exploit that, and it's just refreshing at the end of the day. It's just someone new, someone that's going to be a little bit different, someone that's not going to showcase cover three 80%, not 80%, but like I'm being dramatic, but like a majority of the time where young
Yeah.
quarterbacks and inexperienced quarterbacks like Drew Lock can just dissect you for 5 touchdowns and a perfect passer rating. So that's just something that's the most exciting thing for me. It's refreshing. I had a lot of Colts fans in our comments when I made the video on our socials yesterday saying, I don't know what's so exciting about this guy. Watch this episode. We'll share with you what's exciting about this guy. And Logan, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned something in the beginning, right before we hopped on this. You want to mention that real quick to the listeners?
Yeah. I was talking about, I'm curious because there's two sides of the coin, right? It's not just, hey, the Colts wanted Lou Anarumo, let's go out and get him. There's also the flip side. I'm very curious as to what attracted Lou Anarumo to the Colts defensive coordinator position, because on paper, you and I talked about it. It on paper it appears somewhat like a potential lame duck situation. And so there must be some studs on this roster that he came in to interview and was like, "Hey, I'm excited to get to work with DeForest Buckner. I'm excited to get to run blitz packages with Kenny Moore. I'm excited for a young ascending Jalen Jones and Nick Cross and
Yeah.
hopefully a healthy Juju Brents, right?" Um, I'm curious. I'm really, really curious actually, and I hope that comes out, because normally, they'll have like a press conference with him, and hopefully they get a lot of media time with him, and I hope they ask like, "Hey, what attracted you about this
Yeah.
Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator job?" Because
Yeah.
it's a two-way street, man. Everyone knows that in a job interview. It's not just you're interviewing the employer as well. It's not just the employer interviewing you. So, super curious about what drew him here to Indy.
9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Central time on Thursdays when he's having his press conference. We'll be
Yeah,
able to
excited.
listen to that. That'll be exciting. I think one, I totally agree. It's the players to some capacity, but I also think it's the trust in Shane Steichen. This is a complete Shane Steichen hire, not a Chris Ballard hire at all whatsoever.
Mm,
Shane got his
good
guy.
point.
I
Yeah.
think I think Lou believes in Shane on the offensive side of the ball, and he just needed someone to complement him. That's not Gus Bradley, so you can actually play complementary football. And I think
Yeah.
Lou thinks that, hey, he's going to figure this out, even if the quarterback situation's a mess. And hopefully AR figures it out this season. We pray to God, but he believes that they're going to be able to play complementary football now that Lou's there. So I think it's a combination of both the players and just belief in Shane. But Maybe we're wrong.
Well, like I said, it can't be much worse than Gus Bradley. So if he can help the Colts defense just ascend to not bottom, 5 or whatever they finished
Yeah.
at, then hey, we're going somewhere. We're making
We're in business,
progress.
baby. We're in business. Finish top 16. We're in business. Play complimentary football. That's all I ask for.
That's all we ask.
All we ask for. Well, Colts fans, we're probably going to call it here. Make sure to tune in, like, subscribe on YouTube. TikTok is back, baby. So don't forget to like
Woo!
and follow us on TikTok as well as Instagram and Twitter for all your go-to Colts content in season and off season as well. We're going to come out with about an episode a week. So just tune in on that. Make sure to put your noties on. And then looking forward to talking more Colts come draft time.